Well, guys, in the last several videos, I had these keys laid up in the background. I never intended to make a video. I just did it as for my own interest, but I had so many of you. I had no idea there were so many key collectors out there. I got so many questions about what are they, tell us more about them, that I just decided to talk a little bit about keys. I mean, I know we usually talk about locks, and we will, but let's first talk about these keys and what I find interesting. I bought a bag of keys from an estate sale in California, and there were probably, several hundred keys. And I had just sorted through and just laid these up in what I thought was sequential order. And I left them laying there intending to look at them a little bit more, but let's kind of do it together. I'm going to start from the oldest ones. Now, this is a very old Yale key. Now, take a look at this guy. There's a lot of detail on these old keys. Let me find a probe here so we can kind of look at some stuff. First of all, they started using the word paracentric. I've never seen that on anything other than the very oldest ones. And take a look at the original Yale logo. They had a little place on the keys so that if it came from the factory, it came pre-stamped with some kind of code. Now, that obviously is not the bidding on this key. It's some kind of code number, and then if the local locksmith had to do something else, he would put some kind of secret number on there that only he would know anything about. On these old keys, we have a solid rim, we have the company logo, very neat, very, very cool. Paracentric, as if anybody knew what that was. It has the absolute oldest Yale and Town logo on the back here. This is their trademark, and a lot of their old keys, even older than this one, had that particular shape with the Y and the T on there. So really interesting. I don't have a lock for, I was going to say I don't have a lock for any of these, but I think you're going to see that that's not quite true. Okay, now we come up a little bit in age on this guy, I think. Again, we start to see, we still have the original company logo. Notice that the Yale logo has changed. They still have a place for the stamping here. And then we flip it over on the back. We also have the logo on the back, but take a look at the back of this. Inside of here, this is all stippled or little dimples inside of there. We have a lot of embellishments. Not only do we have the rim raised, but there are these little raised dots all the way around the perimeter, and there's also little raised dots around the keyring hole in addition to the raised ring. So again, to provide a little bit of wear to protect everything on the face of this old key. Pretty cool. Notice the shape of that box around the Yale, and the Yale is now a different shape. And as time goes on, I mean, this is another one just like it. This one's kind of filthy, but it kind of raises your attention to the dimpled on the inside of there. Again, this is probably for a mailbox or a small lock. Unused here, we flip them over. Now suddenly we still have all the embellishments, but now the inside is a little bit different, but the box here, the Yale is gone from the backside to, again, allow locksmiths to stamp on the inside of where on the slightly older, you actually have the Yale stamped on both sides. On this one, not so much. Time goes on, just ease the manufacturing a little bit. Again, you still got the dimpling on the inside of there, but some of the embellishments are gone. The box around the Yale is now gone. And we flip them over. For the first time, you see Yale start to using their keys for advertising. Only use blank keys that are marked. Only buy our stuff. Don't buy anybody's fake knockoff keys. Only buy the Yale, because they give you the absolute best. Let me go back to this guy. The absolute best security. So again, stamping on the bow is kind of unusual. On this older one, if I can pull them up here, on this really, really old one, they even used it to mark their patent dates. And this one has a bunch of dates, and the latest one is marked December 13th, 1898. So very cool stuff. You just never really stopped to take a look at these. Here's a couple of keys I got. These are identical keys. Again, let's look at these. Again, it's changed. The box is gone. We still have dimpling on this guy, but the box is gone from the back as well as the dimpling. That's dirt, you see. The back of this later production key is perfectly smooth. Again, to ease production, reduce costs. This is the exact key. They're cut differently, but the exact key that obviously has been carried around a long time. The rim is completely worn off. The logo, which is around here, is completely worn off. The key ring has worn off the wear strip around the keyhole. I mean, even the logo is almost completely gone. On the back, start to see some interesting stuff. Burbank lock shop. And I looked them up, but unfortunately it looks like these guys have gone out of business. You got to wonder, when I see a key like this with all of this wear, how long was that carry? What was it used for? I mean, how many times was it in the guy's pocket when he went into the ocean? I mean, you wonder what kind of stories a key like this could tell. When you see an old key like that, you think, well, his life is over. Well, let me back up a little bit. This is a lock. I bought a batch of locks from a fella in Ohio. This is an old Yale lock. It did not come with a key. So I was just messing around. And I grabbed these two keys, the worn one and the not worn one, were the same keyway. So I just, out of curiosity, just shoved them in there just to check it. I really wasn't expecting anything to work. And suddenly, it worked. Unbelievable. What are the odds of that? So here we have probably more than 100-year-old key and a 100-year-old lock. They were separated, and now suddenly they come back together in the lock lab. What are the odds of that? Again, get away from Yale a little bit. Again, I'm looking at the embellishments on some of these old keys. I mean, the nice scroll work on there, a little box to stamp stuff in. This one's by Independent Lock Company or Ilco. These guys are still around today. Here's the same, this is a slightly different logo, but you can see this one's got a lot of wear on it. And they didn't even take time to stamp in a box. They just kind of stamped across the back of the key. This one's probably very, very rakeable, right? Anyway, moving on, this is something a little more modern. This one is, let's see here, it has Jeff's, so I can make it out, Jeff's Locksmiths in Sacramento. I tried looking those guys up, and I think they're also long out of business. You got to wonder about some of the story of some of these things. These last two are simply just cool keys. I mean, the Guild, what a cool logo that is. And the Atlas Key Company with a little guy, with Atlas holding up their logo on the key. Very cool stuff. Some other cool stuff I've gotten lately. Ali sent me some cool stuff. Again, old stuff. I've got an interest in it, and he collects paper goods. Again, I never knew there were people that collected old paper, but here you go. This is an old letter. This was sent from Corbin Cabinet Lock Company back in, 1904. They mailed it on March 18th, 1904. To Boswick Brown Company. I have no idea. It's empty, but on the back it arrived in Toledo only a day later. So very cool. Back in 1904, more than 100 years old. You got to wonder what was inside of there. We don't have to wonder what was in this guy, though. This was by Diebold Safe and Lock Company. They're still around today. Sent to the State Bank of Wonewoc in Wonewoc, Wisconsin. I got to go there. 2-cent stamp sent back in 1920, so almost exactly 100 years ago, this letter arrived to the State Bank of Wonewoc, and let's see what they had to say. Kind of cool looking old, from beautiful old letterhead. And they basically say, guys, we got your questions about the safe deposit box. We're making them, and we're going to have them to you in about 30 days. Very cool old stuff. Anyway, guys, that's, I kind of wanted to explain what the keys were. A lot of questions about it. Hope I answer some of them, why I take the time to look at keys and sort through them. They're just interesting, and sometimes it even pays off to try them. Anyway, guys, this is a weekend. We're going to have a giveaway, right? All right, first thing we're going to have, talking about keys, how about a Quick Key Easy Pro? This is a real quick way to cast a temporary key. This is from Multipick. They donated this. It's still in a sealed container. I did a review about this. I'll put the link to the review down in the description. So if you guys want to take a look, I don't want to bust the seal on this. In addition to this, I'm going to throw in one of the Lock Lab's handmade pinning trays made out of bamboo. Beautiful. And this is one that I signed. Anyway, guys, appreciate your time. Stay safe. Stay legal. I got to start collecting keys. Thanks, guys. All you need to do is navigate to locklab.com, the tribal website, and scroll down in the middle of the page. You'll see all the giveaway buttons, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But the one you're looking for is the Weekend Review giveaway, purple band. Just click on it. It'll take you to the registration page. Again, scroll to the bottom, put in a good email address, so if you win, I can get in touch with you, let you know. Put in a username, doesn't matter what it is, and click Submit. When you're done, you'll get a green check mark confirming your entry. Thanks, guys.